Welcome back, homesteaders. This is Jeremy with Colony Hills Homestead. If you're new to the channel, or if this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd ask that you like and subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell notification so that you don't miss out on any content. Without further ado, we're going to get into starting seeds indoors for your garden. So it's that time of the year. I love this time of the year. But it's different for everywhere you are in the U.S. So you really need to know your grow zone. So you can look that up. If you have a Farmer's Almanac, that is a terrific source to use. If not, you can Google it on the internet. You need to find out what zone you're in, and you need to look for when your last frost is projected. Whatever that day is, we're going to back up about 6 weeks, and that's when you can start your seeds indoors so that they'll be hardy and ready to go when it's time to plant, okay? So we're going to do some of the basics here. Look up that last frost, like I said. That'll be the first thing you do. Then get your supplies ready. You're going to need 4 packs or 6 packs. You're going to need a medium to plant your seeds in. You're going to need to know what seeds you're going to plant. Hopefully you've already strategized that based on what you did last year. If this is the first time you're growing a garden, you'll learn a lot this year, and you'll be able to grow off that and know exactly what to do next year. And it just gets better and better every year, okay? So let's dive right into the medium that I use. Now remember, I'm not promoting anything that I use. I'm not selling anything here out of my business for this, but I will offer you a few tips and even show you a product or two that will probably work good for you. So if you're doing something on a small scale, they do sell seed starter. Jiffy has a good one. I think Miracle Grow has a good seed starter. They're all based off a few ingredients. A lot of them use peat, a little bit of coconut coir, maybe a little perlite or vermiculite, and normally a wetting agent, which will allow that to absorb moisture easier. You ever put the dirt in the 4 packs or the 6 packs and you try to water them and the water just rolls off the top? Well, first tip, go ahead and wet your medium before you put it in your 4 packs and before you plant your seeds. And then it will be ready to, it'll already be moist, but now it'll be ready to accept more moisture on top of that seed, okay? I will show you, if you're doing this, like I said, on a small scale. This is expensive, but Jiffy does make this seed starter here, which has, I think, those exact ingredients that I mentioned here. Now, I will say that if you get a seed starter mix that says it has a fertilizer in it, well, that's great, but it's not necessary. Okay, that's something that is not necessary for seed growth. Seed growth needs air. That's why you want a soil that's going to be porous, well drained. It's going to need something that holds moisture, which coconut coir and peat do hold that moisture. And then we're going to need to get it to the right temperatures, which if you're planting indoors, those temperatures are right for you. I also have a greenhouse here, so I don't have an excuse not to start early. And then once that seed pops, and that's what we're going to talk about, once that seed pops, that's when you want to really put a lot of light on it, okay? So the mixture that I use is coconut coir and some perlite. I do not mix any compost in that. And then I get it to the moisture. I have some here that I've pre-mixed up. What you want with that moisture is to be able to, get you a firm squeeze on it, no water come out, but yet it will stay together in a ball like this and easily break apart. Okay, that's the moisture you're looking for. All right, so once that seed is planted, and we'll talk about depths of how to plant the seed. That seed is planting. What we're wanting it to do is literally to pop into growth. And when that growth starts, we don't want it to stop. So I'll say something about that. So when you go to big box stores and you see the tomato plants and the peppers and all this, another reason why I like to go from seed is that I'm not stunning or stopping the growth of my seeds, okay? When those seeds come up and then they get what I call the first 2 real leaves, which is normally the 4th leaves, that's when I want to start hardening my seeds up, my plants up, and getting them ready to be planted and continue that growth cycle. I don't want them to set in those 4-packs for another several weeks, not putting on a lot of growth, just staying alive and kind of shutting the hormones down on the growth. So it's very important that once your seeds get ready and get up, that you're ready to plant them outside. So your garden is prepared, it's ready, and you can just continue that growth cycle without stunning it. That's the number one reason why I plant my own seeds. That's the reason that I like to propagate my own bushes, shrubs, trees, plants, things of that nature. I know how long they've been in that medium. I know whether they're stunted, not stunted. You know, a lot of your things that you buy from these box stores, take for instance shrubs, I don't want to get too far off the subject, they may have been in that pot for 4 or 5 years and they're this tall. They should have been 6 foot tall, okay? Now you've got to get them out somehow, re-energize, agitate the roots, fertilize, get the right everything to get this thing growing again when it's been used to not growing. Okay, so enough of that. Back to our seeds. So hardening up, if you don't know what that is, so once your seeds get up to that 2 real leaves, you're going to want to start setting your seeds, your flats, whatever you have them in. So I have a flat here that I'm ready to plant. So I would transfer this flat to where it could get a couple hours of morning sun, and then maybe the rest of the day shade. And we would do this for several days, acclimating the plant to the outside conditions. If not, you're going to plant this out here, you'll experience burn, maybe, damping off. You don't want that. Now, to another thing, when you've got the plants up, when they've popped and they're ready, you need to put light on them. If you don't put the light on them, that's where you're going to get, and I get this question all the time, why are my seedlings thin and wiry and laying over, and they're trying to reach for the light, wherever that may be, okay? You need to get that light on them because those wiry, long plants are not going to survive outside. You're wanting a short, thick stem plant that's getting sun from several angles, something that's not going to lean, not going to reach, okay? I don't want to get off beat here. So let's talk about seed death. I'm going to make this real simple. The bigger the seed, the deeper it needs to be planted, okay? The tomato seeds, I plant those about 1/4 inch deep. Some of my lettuces, spinach, collard green, things of those nature that have the tiny seeds, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Now I may plant a squash seed 1 inch deep. It can handle it. You've seen squash seeds. I'm sure they're big. So always keep that rule of thumb there. The bigger the seed, the deeper it'll need to be planted, and vice versa. Markers for your plants, your 4-packs. I use popsicle sticks. Doesn't matter what you use, you need to get something because you think you know what's in that flat until you don't know. So I have planted flats that have half jalapenos, half bell peppers. I just knew I knew that, and then I don't know which is which. A lot of your peppers will look the same when they first sprout, okay? A lot of your tomatoes will look the same when they first sprout. So you don't want to plant your cherry tomatoes where you think you're planting your big beef eaters, okay? So keep that in mind. Always have something that you can mark your plants with, okay? I want to talk for a minute. Someone asked me about heirloom seeds, what those were. You've probably heard that before. Heirloom seeds, heirloom plants, when people talk about that, they're referring to plants and seeds and vegetables and fruits that were planted pre-World War II. So 50 years ago or more is what heirloom seeds, heirloom plants, that's what they're referring to. So the time before they started making all these hybrids. So they started making all these hybrids to feed the masses. They started making these determinate plants. You'll see indeterminate and determinate varieties. The reason for a determinate plant is so that they can use the big machinery to harvest the fields all at one time. Because that plant, from the time it sprouted, it was genetically engineered to grow this many days to produce this amount of fruit. And I'll be honest with you, taste was not one of the biggest concerns. That's the other reason why I like Heirloom Seeds. Now, sure, you always want a good mixture to make sure you have a good crop. You know, plant you a hybrid tomato or two along with your heirlooms. But for me, the taste, the heirloom tomatoes of whatever variety you get, it's hard to beat. And I still get a good yield. You do need to prune. You do need to add your calcium, add your things to your soil, amend your soil, which is for another video. But there's what heirloom seeds are, guys. So if you ever wondered about that, that's what they mean when they say that. So I wanted to show you what the coconut coir looks like when I purchase it, when I use it. And you can definitely get smaller blocks of this. The reason that I have this is because I plant big gardens. I have a greenhouse. I have this right here. Once I mix my other ingredients in with this will make about 3 huge wheelbarrows of medium or of soil potting mix that I use here. So this thing definitely, it's hard. You hear that? It's going to have to be put in something, water added to it. It fluffs up, and it is very fluffy. It's actually made from not the very outside of the coconut, but the next layer of the coconut shell. That's what it is, and it's pretty inert. It does have some potassium, but it's not really a good soil amendment in the sense that it's inert. But for seeds, inert is fine. Remember, we're not trying to elicit big growth with fertilizer when we're planting seeds. They don't even need dirt. We do have a hydroponic system or 3 that we use here on the farm for various reasons. I do fodder for quails and rabbits, and you know, this is a small system here of trays that I have seeds in. As you can see, this is alfalfa, and each tray is the same setup, and just add water to it twice a day. And when these cells get ready, place them in your ice box. They'll keep for another week. For all the seed eaters out there, for all the sprout eaters, all these things that I've showed you, we'll put links down below to where you can easily find them on Amazon and make purchases if these are some of the things that you think you might need. Remember, you got to have the good soil. You got to have the good medium. We need a good seed starter, not potting soil. Pick your seeds out. You know, there's a lot of good seed manufacturers out there. I've used them all. You know, Burpee, Parker. What was the other one I used a lot? Gurney's. But I will tell you, this for Heirloom Seeds, this has a lot of seeds in this package. All of them are heirloom. This comes from Pure Pollination. You know, they're openly pollinated, chemical-free, 100% non-GMO, non-hybrids. These are the old school seeds. So I'll put a link to this down below also. So from everybody here at Colony Hills Farm, we'd like to say God bless. You have a terrific weekend and get ready to harvest.